Hello everyone, this video is in continuation to our videos on animal kingdom, where we were discussing porifera. In our last video we have discussed the general characteristics. In this we'll be discussing about nutrition and digestion, respiration, excretion and the process of reproduction in poriferans. Fine. So we'll start with the first. Please watch the video till the end, because in the end everything in the flowchart form will be there on the board. You can use it for your notes. So starting up with nutrition and digestion. Nutrition in case of poriferans is a holozoic type of nutrition. It is holozoic type of nutrition. That is the organisms, they take in nutrients and then that's digested inside the body. The digestion is intracellular, within the cells. Not intercellular, it's intracellular, inside the cell. Respiration, excretion. Respiration is by diffusion through the body surface. Fine. And in excretion, it is also with the help of diffusion through body surface. Fine. And they secrete out ammonia, so they are ammonotelic. We have already done ammonotelic, urotelic and uricotelic. So out of them they are ammonotelic, which is most toxic and found in aquatic organisms. We did it already. So they secrete out ammonia, so ammonotelic. Reproduction in case of sponges can be, reproduction can take place in both the ways. It can be asexual and sexual. Asexual reproduction takes place with the help of budding, or budding takes place when the process of asexual reproduction is going on. Now buds, there are two types of buds formed: exogenous and endogenous buds. An exogenous bud is the one which is formed on the body surface, so present outside the body or formed outside the body. Endogenous, inside the body. Now herein the endogenous buds which are formed in the case of poriferans are known as gemmules. Now these gemmules, they are found towards spongocele. If you see, this is the spongocele. Towards this internal side the gemmules are present, and if we see the structure of a gemmule, so you will see that it has a cluster of cells towards the inner side known as archaeocytes. These archaeocytes are totipotent in nature, and around is a gelatinous mass. Around these archaeocytes is a gelatinous mass, and these archaeocytes, they open up into this tubular structure which finally ends up in an opening known as micropyle. So this is the structure of a gemmule, and herein in this gelatinous mass we have the spicules present. So I label the parts. This is gelatinous fluid or mass. These are spicules. These are archaeocytes, and the archaeocytes are totipotent. What do you mean by totipotent cells? The cells which are capable of giving rise to a new organism. That means the number of cluster of cells which are present here, each cell can give rise to a new individual. So these are archaeocytes in cluster, which are, each cell is totipotent in nature, and this opening is known as micropyle. Fine. Now this gemmule, as I already told, is present inside towards the inner side, towards the spongocele region. These gemmules, they move out of the oscula and they free float in the water. They attach themselves to the substratum. Whenever they find one, they attach themselves from this micropylar end on the substratum and start germinating. So these are gemmules, which is a very significant feature of poriferans. Then we have the sexual type of reproduction. Poriferans are hermaphrodite. they are hermaphrodite, they have male and female both parts, still they undergo cross fertilization. How? They undergo cross fertilization because they show protogynous condition. We have already discussed this type of condition. Protogynous condition is the one wherein the female part matures first and then the male part. So when the female part will mature first, it has to undergo fertilization. So it will undergo cross fertilization rather than between the same. So it undergoes a protogynous condition, and it has a protogynous condition undergoing cross fertilization. So the fertilization in this case, in the case of poriferans, fertilization is internal. That means it takes place within the body of an organism. Then the development is the development which takes place of the fertilized organism is indirect. And what is an indirect type of development? Wherein the larval stages are there, wherein the larval stages are formed. So when the larval stages are formed, there are two types of larva which is formed. So when I say it's a indirect, that means the larva is formed here, and there are two types of larvas which are there in poriferans: parenchyma larva and amphiblastula larva. Fine, very important question as well. Fine. So parenchyma larva and amphiblastula, two types of larva are formed in poriferans. Amphiblastula is a hollow larva, it's hollow from inside, and parenchyma is a solid larva which is solid from inside. So these are the different types of larva which are formed. We have discussed type of digestion and nutrition, respiration, excretion, and types of reproduction. Very important, formation of gemmules and the types of larva formed in poriferans. What type of development is? Development is indirect, fertilization is internal, and they also show a protogynous condition wherein the female part matures first. So this is all about the various systems present in the poriferans. In our next video, we'll discuss about some very important poriferans, and we'll also discuss about the classification of poriferans. So keep watching, liking, sharing, subscribing. Thank you.